I'm currently a Master of Public Health candidate at Yale University, and I'm studying health policy. And the way that I met Elena and many of the other panelists here today were through the Yale School of Public Health Climate Change and Health Certificate. So around the start of the pandemic, I really found myself consuming a lot of news media about, well, the pandemic, but also climate change. And there were a lot of concerns about how the current pandemic and future pandemics could have been driven by many of the factors that drive climate change. And, it was really concerning. So that was what led me to take this course, and why I was more interested in learning about the links between climate and health. And my two major takeaways from that certificate course were that, yes, they are inextricably linked. And unfortunately, the communities and the people that are the most affected by climate change and other health concerns tend to be those that are the least prepared and the least able to prepare, whether that's because of their income levels or their geographic location. There's a whole host of factors. So that experience and some other things led me to apply to the Master of Public Health program. And so I'm currently in my final year of that, and I am working on a whole host of public health related issues with regards to health policy. But really what I've come to realize is that climate change is, as Gigi said, it requires a structural response, because so many of the issues that lead to climate change are structural, and it's not going to be an individual that solves them. It has to be a wider response. So with that, I just wanted to share a quick story about the importance of communicating with a given community and taking their input when developing solutions. So this example is not actually climate related, but I work with a group in Canada on health data, and we have a public advisory committee. It's made up of very diverse individuals from across the country, and they all represent different viewpoints. And perhaps most importantly, none of them are experts in health data. So when we have something that has been worked on and looked at by scientists and others who, live, breathe, sleep, eat health data, it's easy to get lost in the weeds and not actually see what an obvious problem might be. So we often give projects to this public advisory committee, and the feedback that they give us is just invaluable. For example, one of the recent projects was a grid, and it was just showing all the data holdings that we have access to in Canada. And it's very simple. It's just, it says, oh, we have like data about the environment. We have data about hospitalizations, that kind of thing. And then one key piece of feedback that we got was that it wasn't visually accessible. So we had different colors going on, and, to someone with a normal level of vision, it was readable and easy to read. But one of our members who had visual impairments was able to tell us that actually the most accessible form of this grid would be in black and white and using shading as opposed to using like many different colors. And so that was something that we never would have realized if we hadn't had this input from someone who was not an expert in the subject we were dealing with data, but they were an expert in a different subject. So I just wanted to relate that to the climate change discussion and the resilience discussion, in that it's really important to take into account all the differences we have and the differences that bring that wealth of experience, and how that can all contribute to developing interventions and solutions for climate change. And any sound policy, whether it's strictly health or if it's related more to climate change, really requires that input from the stakeholders and the community itself, because they know what they need the most.